Hey folks, it's Sam, and I'm talking today about. I'm actually going to go a little deeper into this full moon in Aries that we just started here. It's a full moon day today in Aries, and it's um, coming right at the end of the Zodiac, as it says here, Gandantha full moon in Aries. It actually happened yesterday. Surrendering and focusing, rebirth, leaving the dream, entering reality. Right. So I did an update here. You can check that out. I'll have a link. But also, this is a very important opportunity to go and look at very important things in the zodiac. For example, this concept of Gandantha, when the zodiac signs and the nakshatras both stop at a certain point. And this is part of the Vedic astrology tradition. The Sidereal Vedic astrology tradition is very clear that the zodiac, the rashis and the nakshatras, the zodiac signs and the nakshatras are in alignment. As you could see from these classical texts, I'm actually going to read through and show you the explicit statements in the text. There's no confusion about any of this. It was known forever. And both the Indians and the Greeks and all the ancient people use the, of course, nakshatra-based sky, or at least the sky directly. Whereas, for example, what we call the tropical zodiac isn't really based on the sky, it's based on the seasons. The seasons themselves define the zodiac. Again, but that's just the orbit of the Earth going around the sun. It's different than the sky directly. It doesn't mean it's illegitimate, but it's not what they did in India. They were never confused about it or anything like that either. And this is a good opportunity to look at these points that are called Gandantha. There are three of them between Revati and Ashwini nakshatra, which is Pisces and Aries, also between Cancer and Leo, and also between Sagittarius and Scorpio. So this is how we have the alignment of the two zodiacs. So again, let's keep that in mind and proceed. This will be a great opportunity for you to learn about these things today. Please like the video. Clicking like helps a lot more than you know. It pushes the video higher in relevant video searches. Also, please leave a nice comment. Comments also help more than you know, as it raises the video in searches. Many times with hundreds of likes, there are only a dozen comments and they can be disproportionately negative. So be positive. Let me know if you like this. Even just a few words really helps. So subscribe, ring the bell to get notified of upcoming videos. Yeah, please do that, and thanks a lot. So as you see here, it says Gandantha full moon in Aries, October 17th. Both surrendering and focusing, rebirth, leave the dream and enter reality. So the first thing to really understand about this, about this concept is that we have this, rebirth, this death rebirth, right? And this surrender and embrace. So we're both surrendering the Revati energy, which is the Pisces energy, surrendering the Pisces through Revati nakshatra, which is the last steps of the journey home, ruled by the nakshatra Lord Pushan, the deity. But then there's the rebirth in Aries, in Ashwini, which is about the twin horses, those twin horses that are running headlong into the next incarnation or into the next cycle of your life. And you can see that laid out here from this recent update that I just did, again, where I explained that in this video. But you could see that this full moon is happening. The sun is 022 of Libra and the moon is 013 of Aries. That's right here, right? So the sun is like right here, barely in Libra, and the moon barely in Aries. So this is that Gandantha point, that rebirth point. And so the reason this is important is what you're looking at here is the 27 nakshatras laid over the 12 zodiac signs, the 12 rashis. And by the way, this diagram is from a course that I taught, probably the best beginning course you're ever going to find on Vedic astrology. I'm sorry, but it is. Vedic Astrology 80/20, begin, reset, restore your practice for all levels, not just another beginner's course, to really reset your entire practice. I'll talk about that in a bit. But this diagram is where I'm explaining the section on the zodiac. And you can see these nakshatras, for example, the sign of Aries, if you were to extend it upward, has the nakshatras Ashwini, Bharani, and then the first pada of Kritika. So there are 9 padas or quarters of each zodiac sign that are connected to the nakshatras, right? So each zodiac sign has 9 nakshatra padas, and they're broken up into 2 1/4 nakshatras. So you don't have to worry about the math part, but what it means is that when you start doing this math, for example, you see there are 3 points where these nakshatras and rashis reset. So you'll have 9 nakshatras that stretch over 4 zodiac signs: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. There's 9 nakshatras, Ashwini through Aslesha. And then you'll see here in between Cancer and Leo, you'll have Ashlesha and Magha. They will reset again. So every time you have this bridge, this junction between the water sign and the fire sign, water sign, fire sign, water sign, fire sign, it's also a hard stop, which is called Gandantha. Now, Gandantha means loosening the knot. It means that the knot gets loosened. What it means by the knot getting loosened is that in between these zodiac signs, otherwise, between Aries and Taurus, there's the nakshatra of Kritika that bridges. That's like the knot that holds it together. Between Taurus and Gemini, there's the nakshatra of Mrigashira that holds the zodiac together. That's like the knot. Between Gemini and Cancer, there's the nakshatra of Punarvasu that bridges and holds the knot together. Between Aslesha and Magha, the knot becomes loosened. Between Revati and Ashwini, the knot becomes loosened. So this is why the Gandantha point, when you have important things that happen right on the Gandantha, it's in between these 2 places. It's where the knot has become loosened. And you can see in this recent new moon, it's very much in the Gandantha at like 0.22. It's like less than 1 degree. That's the deepest point of the Gandantha, right? Because again, like as you could see, usually the Gandantha is considered to be like the last pada of one and the first pada of the other. The padas wind up being like 3 degrees, right? So is that right? 12, 13, 20. Yeah, about 3 degrees. Sorry. I always get, is it 230 or 320? 13, 20, 12, 30. Anyway, so, but especially the last degree on either side. So from 29 Pisces to 1 Aries is the most severe aspect of the Gandantha. Of course, this one is even less. This one is less than 1, right? So this whole idea of surrendering, which is the end of Pisces, and then rebirth is huge here, because you want to understand something. The moon moves fast, okay? This happened yesterday morning, October 17, about 4:15 a.m., but at 3 a.m., the moon was still in Pisces, right? So as the moon was becoming exactly full, as the Purnima was working to its exact fullness, the moon was passing through this very uncertain place. So when planets change signs, it's kind of like they're moving in between 2 different locations, but especially when it's in the Gandantha, the movement between the 2 locations means it's also kind of like unmoored, like sort of undone, coming undone. Moving between the 2, like for example, between Aquarius and Pisces, that's still in between 2 signs, but the nakshatra of Purva Bhadrapada bridges them. Moving between Capricorn and Aquarius, that's still some uncertainty, but the nakshatra of Dhanishta holds it together. So this is why when you have the Revati Ashwini, this Gandantha is related to death and rebirth, literally like coming out of the birth canal, Pisces, into the world. That's the instability of this Gandantha. And you got to understand, it's not a bad thing. It's just a quality. It's an unstable section. Instability is also an opening for something new. It's not just Oh, that's bad. When's it going to stop? I feel restless. I'm uncertain. My emotions run everything. When am I going to feel better? Well, if you can graduate beyond grammar school in that regard, you can see that those are the moments when there's also open possibility, right? Sorry to be insulting, but it is kind of like, spiritual grammar school at times when everything is just, but I feel bad. When's it going to stop? We're not just here to feel good. We're here to also evolve. And Gandantha points are points when things are not as certain. And we can then fill that with hopefully spiritual wisdom that's always there. This other Gandantha point between Aslesha and Magha has more to do with like a personal identity crisis. And then the one between Scorpio and Sagittarius can often have to do with worldly, explosive, cataclysmic events that affect the world and transform the world. But this one is about the birth of the new being and of a new life. So it's a very transformative, regenerative possibility now. And you can see this is the Vedic Indian sky, right? And it's reaffirmed here again. This is from the course that I talked about, that this begin, reset, restore. You can get access to this. It was already taught, so you can ignore the dates on the page, but you can get lifetime access to these recordings, more than 25 hours of recordings. And again, it was also taught with my students live over 2 weekends a couple years ago: astronomy, cosmology, the spiritual zodiac and calendar with Dr. Malini Iyer, spiritual principles in Vedic astrology, yoga philosophy, session 2. Then planets in their signs, spirit takes form as body and mind, session 3. Session 4, planets in their signs with Alexis Cox. This was with Elise de Villiers. Then the next weekend, session 5 with Casey Scott, astrology houses, deep dive, lunar nodes, eclipse points, accelerated karma, nakshatras and stellar mansions, and then yoga's aspects and bringing it all together. So again, this is a great way to begin, reset, or restore your Vedic astrology practice. But this was actually from the very beginning of the course. I show you how the zodiac works and the sidereal zodiac in 6 major astrology and astronomy texts. Again, it says very clearly, the said zodiac comprises 27 nakshatras beginning from Ashwini. The same area is divided into 12 parts, 12 rashis beginning from Mesha or Aries. There are other things in Parashara that makes clear that the zodiac is sidereal, but you see this in all the texts. 2 1/4 stars make 1 rashi. 2 1/4 stars is what I just showed you here. This is 2 1/4 stars right here. This is, again, 2 1/4 stars, or nakshatras, 2 1/4 right there, right? Make 1 rashi. Each of the 12 signs is constituted by 2 1/4 stars, or 9 padas, with Ashwini in the start and Revati at the end in Pisces. Jatika Parijata Kriya and other zodiac signs in the heavens consist of 9 quarters, reckoning from Ashwini. Also, some very big ones in Surya Siddhanta. In particular, in Taurus, the 17th degree, a planet of which is of which the latitude is a little more than 2 degrees south, will split the wane of Rohini. It literally says that 17 degrees of Taurus will be in the middle of Rohini. And again, if you look here, this is right from Surya Siddhanta, 17 degrees of Taurus is like right in the middle of Rohini. We'll split the wane of Rohini. It's saying very clearly that the zodiac, where we're locating planets in the sky, where we're locating the planets moving through the sky, are to be located sidereally. Now, again, Western astrology uses tropical zodiac. You can see it's very different, where their zodiac signs are aligned with the calendar, literally. The first day of Aries is March 21st, March 22nd. It's inseparable because that's where the sun is at that time. But again, you have to understand that has nothing to do with where Jupiter is or Saturn or whatever, right? So the zodiac in Vedic astrology is clearly defined by the sky itself, which hasn't changed. Surya Siddhanta, this was written back, 2,000 years ago, and most recently updated in like the 12th century, at least the versions we have. So without it being an astronomy lesson, I wanted to also show you this. It's a good opportunity to go visit the Vedic integrity of the zodiac, the sidereal integrity of the Vedic zodiac, I should say. And there's a lot of ways to look at the zodiac itself. And again, I would recommend, if you want to understand and learn Vedic astrology, there's actually a very simple website. It's called beginningvedicastrology.com. You can see it under my name here, so you can go and check this out. There's a limited special on it, which I'll have some more details there. But this is a great opportunity right now with this Gandantha full moon in Aries, where we have the, where we have the planets, especially these new moons and full moons. At this point, we have the full moon in in Aries, very early in the zodiac here. And the sun has also just barely moved into Libra as well. So again, this is all in alignment with the sidereal zodiac of Vedic astrology. And so, I wanted to make this important update because it's a good opportunity to illustrate the principles of the sidereal zodiac, the sidereal integrity of the zodiac in Indian astrology, and to also just kind of tell you and reiterate that this time right now is very interesting with this full moon happening right in between both the surrendering of Pisces and the rebirth of Aries. So look at areas of life where you've been maybe stuck in certain themes, certain ideas, certain old patterns that you need to just surrender, just let go. Just let go of them. Surrender and let go and be real and say, okay, it's time to let go of this thing. It doesn't have to mean that it's a terrible, tragic thing, terrible tragedy. Like we want to make everything out to be some big tragedy because it ends or it's over. We can just let go and be happy that we got to experience that thing or person or whatever it is, and then embrace the next thing. That's really the big energy of this full moon right now, is letting go of that thing which has served us and move on enthusiastically to the next aspect of our life. So I hope this was helpful and that you also benefited from hearing about the zodiac. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel.